UFC 313, Pereira versus Ankalaev, full card prediction, and this is looking like a really good card. Gaethje Fiziev rematching in the co-main event. Only 3 rounds. Ignacio versus Jalin Turner is such a fire fight. King Green, I don't know why the heck he changed his name. Taking on Mauricio Ruffy. We got Josh Van Ray Tsuruya. This is the 2 first fighters that are born in the 2000s to fight each other in the UFC. So really young guys. I believe like 20 and 21, I think, something like that. Armen versus Brunno's a banger. Leal Morono's a banger. Mairon Santos is a great prospect, and some other fun fights earlier on this fight card. We also got a title challenger, just fought for the belt on the prelims, is kind of crazy. And of course, top 5, top 10 women's strawweights. The main event, Pereira Ankalaev. This is a great card. Only 12 fights. There were some cancellations and some switcheroos. Of course, Gaethje originally supposed to fight Hooker. Now he's fighting Fiziev. Chris originally supposed to fight Matsumoto. Now he's going to be fighting John Castañeda, and Josh Van, originally supposed to fight Bruno Silva, get his shot against a top 15 guy, but he pulled out. Now he's fighting the undefeated Ray Tsuruya, who isn't necessarily taking this on like super short notice. He was supposed to fight in February on the UFC 312 card, so just got postponed a little bit. He's 1-0 in the UFC. Then the only fight that's completely scrapped off this card was Jonathan Deniz, Vitor Petrino. Jonathan did not get a replacement. They're trying to rebook the fight card, or that fight, for later. They didn't, so I don't know what's happening there. We'll see about that. In the heavyweight division, Vitor was trying to move up to heavyweight for some weird reason, but 12 fights nonetheless. It's a good card. Can't wait. Let's get into it. The first fight of the night in the bantamweight division, John Castañeda taking on Chris Gutierrez. John originally supposed to fight over the weekend in the Apex. His opponent pulled out literally like minutes after weigh-ins began, which was kind of crazy. He couldn't make weight, then the commission didn't let him. All sorts of craziness. His opponent was not able to fight. He's like, I still want to fight. Let me fight. Chris Gutierrez, his opponent, goes on to fight Rob Font 2 weeks earlier. So Chris needs an opponent. John needs an opponent. UFC's like, yeah, let's just book this for UFC 313. They do it. And it's an interesting one because neither guy's really taking it on super short notice. But John did have to cut weight already. Chris has not had to cut weight, and that is why this is a not a catch weight, but a full-on featherweight matchup. Tapology has this wrong. This is a 145-pound fight. Not a catch weight, but a featherweight matchup between John Castañeda and Chris Gutierrez. So that does help out John Castañeda just a little bit. And Chris, I mean, he hasn't cut weight once yet. He's not going to even really have to cut weight on this one either, as it is going to be in the featherweight division. Castañeda coming off a win over Miles Johns by finish, which is really good. Beat Muin Gaffarov. That is aged really well. Then he beat Kyung Ho Kong, only losing to Daniel Santos, legit striker, and then Daniel Marcos, another legit striker. But Daniel was able to defend a lot of takedowns. Daniel also able to defend a lot of takedowns. Chris's takedown defense looked a little iffy, I will say. In the last fight with Kang Lee, I was not impressed by your performance. I was not impressed by the takedown defense of Chris Gutierrez. I mean, he was getting taken down by a short notice Kang Lee, stepping up, not even a UFC fighter, and stepped up and landed some good takedowns, got some good control, and overall made it a little bit worrying looking at that fight. I don't know why Chris Gutierrez is on here. I want to look at his takedown defense, because that's a huge part of this matchup in the UFC bantamweight / featherweight division. So Chris Gutierrez, oh my god, let me just keep talking. John Castañeda, obviously his game plan here is going to be to go out there and mix in takedowns. Obviously, his striking is still good, but he's going to want to go out there and mix in takedowns on a guy that gets taken down pretty often inside of the UFC. Got taken down twice by Song Yadong, twice by Kang Lee on short notice, twice by Alateng Haley, by Dana Bajadil. That's a striker. He's getting taken down by him. Felipe Coladas. He gets taken down almost every single fight inside of the UFC. Kang Lee was able to garner 4 minutes of control time in that matchup. So, not saying John Castañeda is going to dominate him on the ground here, but the fact that he's getting taken down so much and so often in these fights makes me worry about Chris Gutierrez's chances here. Obviously, Chris is the better striker, but John is a fast striker. He's able to get inside. He's going to be having that reach advantage over Chris Gutierrez. Can keep the striking even, and as soon as that range closes, John can mix in some takedowns. So I don't know exactly what the betting odds are going to be. The odds for this specific fight have not been announced, as the fight literally just got announced hours ago, but Tapology as of right now has it 75% for Gutierrez, only 4 votes at the moment, so I am expecting Castañeda to be the underdog, but I'm going to go the underdog. I think he's going to be the dog, and I'm going to go for him to win. Again, it's a featherweight fight. He's not going to have to cut weight to bantamweight twice in a row, 2 weeks in a row. I'm going to go John Castañeda. I'm going to go 29-28, using that wrestling and grappling and keeping the striking really, really even. Ozzy Diaz taking on Djorden Santos in the middleweight division. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a banger. This is a banger. Djorden Santos' Contender Series fight was very, very fun. Put on crazy pressure, crazy volume. His cardio was really, really good in that fight. He's got a lot of decisions recently. Miguel Forminho, Felipe Moitinho, Will Cardio. Just kidding, but yeah, a lot of decisions recently. If he's going to get the finish, it's against these lower level guys, so he's not going to go out there and finish Ozzy Diaz. He doesn't really have that one-punch knockout power, where Ozzy is a guy that's been knocked out a lot, but against guys that have that one-punch knockout power. Joe Pyfer, Ming Yang Zhang, so I don't think he's going to go out there and get knocked out in this fight. I do expect this one to go to a decision. I expect this fight to be an absolute banger in the UFC middleweight division. Djorden Santos, Osman Diaz, or Ozzy Diaz, it's supposed to go inside the distance. I don't think so. I really do think this fight goes all the way. Djorden is a decision type of guy. He's a volume, pressure, volume. Come forward and make this a dirty, grimy, cardio effective fight in the UFC middleweight division. I think Ozzy's going to rock Djorden Santos at least once here. I don't think Jordan's really going to do that much to rock Ozzy, but he's going to lay in such significant volume, and he's going to win this fight. I think it's going to be a lot like we saw Esteban Ribovic doing in the last fight over the weekend. Just putting on that pace, that pressure, and I don't think Ozzy's going to be throwing enough back for him to get the scorecards for his favor. He's 6'4", 79-inch reach, tall and lengthy. Djorden gonna have to close that distance and make this a dog fight. Djorden Santos, I got him winning 29-28 decision. Mairon Santos taking on Francis Marshall in the UFC featherweight division. I am going to go Francis Marshall to lose. Ladies, you thought I was going the big underdog. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Height and reach exactly the same. Mairon is the better striker. He's the faster striker. Good movement, and his takedown defense has evolved a lot in the last few years. 3 years ago, he lost to Dan Argueta in the LFA when his takedown defense was not evolved. It has been 3 years since. He's now 24 years old, getting better and better and better, and his takedown defense is as well. If Francis wants to win, he's got to get the takedowns. And if Khan Offley is not getting those takedowns, I don't think Francis Marshall is going to be either. Francis is a decent grappler, but a lot of his wins are actually on the feet. Knockout win over Rojo and a good win over Dennis Bozukia with some good striking as well. I do expect this fight to go to a decision. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping to get another highlight for the reel so we can kind of push Mairon Santos in the rankings a little bit. But the only guy that was able to knock him out was the devastating ground and pound of Isaac Dolgarian about a year and a half ago. I think this fight goes all the way. I think Myron's going to stay at range, and whenever he hurts Francis, which I think he will at portions of this fight, I think Francis is going to wrestle and grapple and use that to survive. I'm going to go Mairon Santos 30-27, 30-27, 29-28. Defending these takedowns, keeping that range, and just jabbing a 1-2 and a kicking Francis Marshall's butt. Mairon Santos, unanimous decision. Carlos Leal, Alex Morono in the welterweight division, 30 years old, 34 age, goes Carlos Leal. Height and reach exactly the same. Striking goes Carlos Leal. Wrestling and grappling goes Alex Morono. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a simple fight that if it stays on the feet for 3 rounds, Carlos Leal is going to win. He's got the better striking, better power, and better volume. I think Carlos Leal is going to win the fight if it does stay in the striking because he is better. But if Alex Morono can mix in some takedowns, get in some wrestling here, some clinch, some submission attempts, he's got a great guillotine, he could be a live underdog. I expect this fight, no matter what, to be a close 29-28 decision. This minus 600 nonsense is absolutely crazy. I got Carlos Leal 29-28, even if Alex Morono uses the wrestling, because Leal's takedown defense looked pretty good in the Renat Fakhreddinov fight. I think he defends the takedowns and outstrikes Alex Morono. 29-28, really close back and forth decision. The odds are horrendous. Armen Petrosyan, Brunno Ferreira in the UFC middleweight division, ladies and gentlemen, is a banger. It's a banger. Brunno's going to be coming forward. He's not as tall. He's a little bit more lengthy, which is kind of crazy. He's got pretty long arms for 5 foot 10 inches tall. Brunno's going to be coming forward and throwing big shots. He's going to be trying to get some throws in and get some takedowns on Armen Petrosyan as well. I think Armen defends, and I think this is mainly a striking affair. I think Brunno Ferreira just keeps coming forward, trying to throw big punches. I'm going to go knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, we haven't seen an Armen Petrosyan knockout in a while. It's been since, the Dana White's Contender Series win over Ankalaev, a round 1, a head kick knockout win, ever since the Gregory Rodriguez win, the AJ Dobson, the Christian Leroy Duncan, only losing to Shara, Vieira, and Caio Borralho. I do think this fight is going to be a knockout, though. I think Brunno is going to be pressuring forward, trying to get inside so much, mixing takedowns and laying big punches to try to knock out Armen. And I think Armen's going to catch him coming in. I think he's going to play the counter roll here, and I think he's going to catch him with either a head kick like he did on the Contender Series or a good counter hook. Armen Petrosyan, round 2, TKO. Tsuruya and Joshua Van in the flyweight division, 22 and 23 years old, super young. Height and reach goes Tsuruya, boxing goes Josh Van, wrestling goes Tsuruya. It's very simple what this fight is going to entail. Ray is going to try to wrestle, he's going to try to grapple. We know what's going to happen. He's 10-0 for a reason. He gets the fight to the ground and he grinds you. He ground and pounds you, and he works submission to submission, and he ground and pounds you while he's working to those submissions. Striking isn't amazing. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. Josh Van is obviously the better guy on the feet. His only loss in the UFC, not even to a grappler guy. It was to a striker in Charles Johnson, who he was able to win round 1, round 2 against, and then just got caught with a big uppercut by the cardio king himself. Charles Johnson came back and showed good cardio in his own right, good takedown defense in his next 2 fights, and knocked down Edgar Chairez, I believe knocked down Djorden as well, and absolutely battered them in the strike. I think Tsuruya is going to have a rough night here in the flyweight division. I think he will land some takedowns, some control attempts, some submissions, and win a round. But I'm going to go 2-1 for Josh Van to win on the feet and defend the takedowns. Josh Van, close decision. Curtis Blaydes and Rizvan Kuniev in the heavyweight division. I am going to go Curtis to win in the striking. I don't like Rizvan's striking at all. I don't think Rizvan's takedowns are amazing. I don't think Curtis is going to get taken down by Rizvan. I think Curtis can honestly land some takedowns on Rizvan, let's be honest here. And if it does stay on the feet, Curtis wins. If it goes to the ground, I think Curtis will be the one that gets the takedown. I don't think Rizvan is going to be landing the takedowns. Curtis is the more powerful striker. He's the better, more technical striker. He's the lengthier striker. I do believe it's going to be 2 wrestlers striking in the UFC heavyweight division, and Curtis Blaydes is that better striker. Rizvan, I don't know if he's been knocked out before. 2 decision losses there. Really early on to Darko Stosic and Justin Willis. I'm going to go decision here again in the UFC heavyweight division for Curtis Blaydes to get the win. Ladies and gentlemen, Curtis can take down Rizvan and he can outstrike him. He wins wherever this fight goes. I feel pretty good about Curtis getting the win. Mauricio Ruffy and King Green in the lightweight division. I'm going to go Hoofy. But I will have to kind of decide on decision or knockout, because Bobby Green's been knocked out a lot. He got knocked out by Jalen Turner badly. He got knocked out by Drew Dober pretty badly as well. And then the Islam Makhachev one. That was a ground and pound TKO. Didn't get hurt or anything, but Poirier knocked him out as well. And then Tim Means really early on in his mixed martial arts career. But a year and a few months ago, a lot of damage against Jalen Turner, and some non-reversible damage. I'm talking, he got knocked out, and then he got knocked out again and again and again, because that referee is utter. I'm gonna stop. I might get demonetized if I keep going, but, you know, his chin's a little bit worrying for me, I will say. Mauricio, he's one shot. That's his nickname. And it's got to come off like a crazy, crazy counter. A lot of his are like the Jamie Malarkey when he was able to catch him. When Jamie was coming in, he was able to boom, bow, and hit him with a good shot. With James Yantop, I think that's how you say it. He was able to, again, stay on the outside, kind of like go like that, and then catch him when he came in with a good one-shot punch. Again, he gets these big, powerful knockout type of blows when his opponents try to come in like that. King Green, Bobby Green, he's not going to be really trying to do that. He's not a guy that's like pressuring you forward and just landing volumes and marauding forward. So that's the way Ruffy gets his knockouts. I don't think King Green, again, Bobby Green, is going to go out there doing that. So I actually expect this fight to go all the way. I think Ruffy will land a good shot here and there, but I think King Green wins around, making this really technical, and Bobby, I think, is going to land some good volume. Ruffy's going to land some good volume as well. I don't think this is going to be the banger that everyone expects, but I think it's going to be very technical and back and forth in that sense. I think the rounds are kind of going to be decided by like 1, 2, 3 strikes every single round, and I do think Ruffy will win 2 of them. And I think Bobby Green will win another one. So I think this is going to be a lot closer than a lot of people are thinking. Just like that other fight, Alex Morono, Carlos Leal. I think this is a lot closer than the odds are saying. So I got Ruffy winning by a decision, but these odds are a little iffy. Ruffy decision, 29-28. Iasmin Lucindo, Amanda Lemos in the UFC women's strawweight division. I'm going to go Iasmin. Is she the dog still? She's the favorite on Tapology, but I want to pick another dog. Gosh, she's the favorite now. Iasmin Lucindo is the favorite. I'm sad by this. I am very, I was hoping to get another dog, but Iasmin Lucindo, she's not as tall, a little bit lengthier than Amanda Lemos. Pretty even striking technically and skill wise, but Amanda's definitely got a little bit more power than Iasmin Lucindo. But Yasmin's got some wrestling and some grappling that she's been able to implement in a lot of these fights. She was able to submit Polyana Viana and mix in some takedowns in her last few fights as well. I think this is going to be not an amazing fight, because Iasmin, I think she needs to mix in a lot of wrestling and grappling here. But when it does stay on the feet, I think it's going to be pretty fun overall. I think this is going to be a 29-28 split decision, you know, typical women's MMA fight. But I think Iasmin wins it with a little bit of takedowns here and there, submission attempts, ground and pound, and keeps the striking very even. Stays away from those big power shots and uses the big power shots of Iasmin, or of Lemos, to set up some takedowns. So I'm going to go Lucindo, 29-28 split decision. Jalin Turner taking on Ignacio Bahamondes in the lightweight division. I am going to go Jalin Turner to win this fight as an underdog. Betting odds are interesting. Some of them have it as a 50-50. Some of them have Jalin as the dog. This is my underdog, Jalin Turner. He's going to be 29, height and reach exactly the same between these two freaks of nature in the lightweight division. Jalin's losses, he's 2-3 in his last 5. Moicano, he should have won that one, let's be honest there. He walked off. What are you doing, Jalin? Knocked out King Green devastatingly. Submitted Brad Rydell. Lost to Dan Hooker in an arguable fight that could have gone either way. And then lost to Mateusz Gamrot, again in an arguable fight that could have gone either way. 2 of them are the grapplers, so the only one we really got to look at to kind of dissect this fight with Ignacio Bahamondes is that Dan Hooker one, because he knocked out Bobby Green. We know his power is on point. But in the Dan Hooker fight, he actually looked really good on the feet. Made it that close of a fight in the striking with Dan Hooker is very impressive, and arguably won that fight. Just completely battered each other in the striking with their punches, with their kicks. I mean, they landed some like huge shots in that fight. I think Jalin's cardio is pretty good. He's got some crazy power that he's able to keep late on into these fights into round 3 as well. Ignacio's not as good in the power as Jalin, but probably going to land a little bit more volume than Ignacio or than Jalin Turner in this fight. So it's a very close fight. I really do think Ignacio was just not going to land this hard of shots. He was able to knock out Manuel Torres in his last one. Got the Crisio Jagos head kick before that. Lost to Ludwig Klein. Got taken down a little bit. And I actually think Jalin Turner is the better wrestler and grappler. He's been fighting a lot of these Gamrots and Moicanos and things like that. Early on in these fights, I think Jalin's actually better on the ground than Ignacio, and I think he's got that power advantage, and I think he can make this a little bit of wrestling, slow it down a little bit, and then when it's on the feet, really speed it up with big, powerful shots. I think the judges are going to give it to Jalin based off he's landing these bigger, more effective strikes and mixing in some wrestling and grappling. So I'm very, very torn. This isn't a fight I take lightly. It's going to be a banger. Not a clear victor at all. Because, again, Jalin makes these fights dog fights. If it goes all the way, it's going to be a dog fight. And if it doesn't, he's usually getting a knockout win. Or he's getting submitted. So we shall see. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a banger at 155 pounds. I'm going to go Jalin Turner, 29-28, split decision in an absolute war. Rafael Fiziev and Justin Gaethje. If this was 5 rounds, I'd be going Justin Gaethje. But it's 3 rounds, and I think Fiziev wins round 1. I think he wins round 2, and I think he loses round 3. Again, he's stepping in on a little bit of short notice here. Gaethje was preparing for 5. He's going to have great cardio, but I think Fiziev goes out there and knows that the chin of Justin Gaethje isn't really what it once was. I mean, he's getting rocked by Fiziev in their first fight. They were going to war in that first fight. Poirier, Gaethje was able to knock out, but then he got destroyed with a lot of damage in the Max Holloway fight. He's taken crazy damage in the Chandler fight. In the Charles Oliveira fight, he got rocked in that one as well. I think Fiziev rocks him in round 1. Round 2 is a little bit more even, but Fiziev hurts him again. Round 3, Gaethje needs a finish, and he rocks Rafael Fiziev, and I think this fight goes all the way. Again, Fiziev, since that last fight was, 2 years ago. Gaethje was 34. Now he's 36. He's getting older, he's getting slower, and his chin is getting worse and worse and worse. Now Fiziev is 32. He's getting better and better and better as these fights go on. And he's in his prime. 32 years old is his prime. Since the last fight, Fiziev's gotten better. Gaethje hasn't really gotten better. His skills are kind of the same. And his chin's got worse. So if the last fight was that close, a split decision, majority decision, I really, really do think Fiziev is going to go out there and show the improvements. And the fact that Gaethje's chin has gone down and it's decreased is going to give Fiziev the win here. It's 3 rounds. Then the first 2 go Fiziev. The third one goes Gaethje. If it was a 5-rounder, I would go 3-4-5 for Justin Gaethje. But it's not. So I think the fight goes all the way. Fiziev, 29-28 decision. Alex Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev in the UFC light heavyweight division. I am going to go with Alex Pereira. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Pereira in round 4. I think it's going to be very similar to the fight with Khalil Rountree, where I think Ankalaev is going to not necessarily like outstrike and just easily win on the feet against Alex Pereira in those early rounds, but I think he'll win the early rounds. That's why I think it's similar to the Khalil Rountree fight, is Ankalaev will win those early rounds, and Alex will have to make some sort of a comeback to gas out Ankalaev with those takedown attempts and knock him out late. I think round 1, Ankalaev stays on the countering, uses his range and countering ability to stay on the outside on the back foot, moving, and kind of baiting Alex Pereira in, faking some takedown attempts and things like that, keeping the striking as even and as technical as he can, with staying away from the big power shot of Alex Pereira. And I think he lands the takedown in round 1. I honestly think he's going to shoot a takedown halfway into round 1, where they're just going to make it very, very feeling out in round 1. And I think Ankalaev will land a takedown towards the middle to end of round number 1, get some control. Everyone's going to be like, oh no, Ankalaev's about to dethrone Alex Pereira. Round 2, a little bit of the same, but Alex is taking more risks, trying to land that left hook, trying to get inside and land some big shots on Ankalaev. I think he'll land a good one, and then Ankalaev will get another takedown, because he's getting a little bit too overzealous with that left hook, getting a little bit too overzealous coming in with the big power shots. And then Ankalaev lands another takedown in round 2, controls him. For like a minute left in the round, Alex Pereira gets back up and tries to do what he can to win the round, but Ankalaev wins round 2. Then round 3, they're going to be sweaty. They're going to be not dry anymore. The takedown's going to be harder for Ankalaev. And then they keep technical. Alex defends a takedown from Ankalaev, keeps outstriking Ankalaev, and overall just starts to work that body with that body jab, left hook, really start to dig in with those leg kicks that he's going to be working in round 1 and round 2, but he's losing those rounds because of the takedown and ground and pound of Ankalaev. But I think the leg kicks in round 1, leg kicks in round 2, then more leg kicks in round 3 because he's defending the takedowns now due to the sweat. I think he's going to really start to chew up the leg in round number 3. I think that's going to be the turning point for Alex Pereira. Big leg kicks, jabs to the body, left hooks, right straights down the middle. And I think round 3, We're gonna see Ankalaev go to his corner. It's gonna be 2-1 Ankalaev, and his corner's gonna be worried. Ankalaev's gonna be, oh shoot, what do I do now? What do I do now? And I think round 4, Alex Pereira is gonna come out like he did with Khalil. Come out very, very strong. Ankalaev is going to immediately shoot a takedown on Alex Pereira. Alex will defend, and Alex will just start ripping and ripping and ripping. Land another leg kick. Slow down Ankalaev again. Make those takedown attempts way, way harder for Ankalaev. He's going to be super slow going in now, and he's just going to work. Body, body, head, leg kick. Body, body, head. Get him to the clinch. Head, head, body, body. He's just going to be ripping, ripping, ripping. He's going to bloody up Ankalaev's nose a little bit towards the middle of round 4. Ankalaev's going to be on the back foot, trying to stay away, shooting a takedown and failing. Shooting a takedown and failing over and over and over again until eventually Alex Pereira gets him cornered right against the cage, and Alex throws a right straight. Ankalaev shelled up a little bit, and that looping hook right inside of the guard. Boom. Right here, right through that guard of Ankalaev, and we got a round 4 TKO win. Rocks Ankalaev. Little bit of ground and pound, no walk-off this time. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Pereira, with 1 minute and 13 seconds left in round number 4, gets the TKO over Magomed Ankalaev. Last time he had 28 seconds. I think he does it a little bit earlier this time. And not with uppercuts, but with that left hook. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Pereira retains the light heavyweight belt, secures his shot versus the winner of Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall, and this will be his final light heavyweight fight. I do believe that. I do believe he beats Ankalaev, he moves up to heavyweight, win or lose, beats Jon Jones for the belt, maybe Jones beats Aspinall, we do Jones, Pereira, retirement fight for both of them, and they both sail off into the sunset. And if Aspinall wins, you do Alex Pereira, Tom Aspinall. Alex Pereira loses that, I think he retires. He did all he could in his MMA career. Middleweight champion, light heavyweight champion, undefeated in the light heavyweight division, and then tries his hand at the heavyweight division after this Ankalaev round 4 knockout because he's cleared out the weight class, loses to Aspinall, wins against Aspinall, retires. I think this is it. I think this is his final light heavyweight matchup. No matter what, if he loses to Ankalaev, I think he might retire anyway, or move up to heavyweight. Try to fight a Cyril Gane. You know, if he loses here, I think he moves up to heavyweight, tries to fight a Cyril Gane, and you get Ankalaev and Blachowicz and Ulberg and things like that. And this weight class can move on. Pereira to heavyweight, Cyril Gane. Winner fights Aspinall or Jon Jones. A lot of stuff to be happening here for Alex Pereira. I really do think this is his final light heavyweight fight. Win or lose. If he wins, he moves up. If he loses, he moves up. Cyril Gane, Aspinall, Jones. A lot of stuff. And this is it. Thank you guys for watching. That is my prediction for Ankalaev Pereira. That is it for the full card prediction. UFC 313. Pereira versus Ankalaev. Full card prediction. I got Alex Pereira. I got Rafael Fiziev. Let's see how many dogs I got. Alex Pereira is a 50-50. He's a dog on one bookie. I'm going to count it. I'm going to count it as a dog pick. Fiziev I have as... He's an underdog on one bookie. Kind of weird. Jalen Turner's a dog. I got Iasmin Lucindo as a slight favorite. Ruffy as a very big favorite. Should not be that big. Curtis Blaydes. I got Armen Petrosyan. I got Carlos Leal. Again, should not be that big of a favorite. I got Josh Van. I got Mairon Santos. And I got Djorden. Djorden Santos, I believe, as well. But why is it saying Ribeiro? I hate how these got the different names for a lot of these fighters. It's kind of weird. And then John Castañeda. I think that's going to be my second dog. I think John Castañeda and Jalen Turner are going to be my 2 dogs for this UFC pay-per-view. And of course, you never know, maybe the Alex Pereira Ankalaev line will flip. I'm hoping. So I have 3 dogs, but right now only 2 in Jalin and John Castañeda. Those are the full card predictions. Like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.